Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Orbital Defense Station Alpha, her dark eyes fixed on the endless expanse of stars before her. The latest message from the Galactic Empire still burned in her mind. Earth's strategic position is too valuable to be left to provincial management. Submit to imperial oversight, or face the consequences. 30 years of relative peace since humanity's first contact with alien civilizations had lulled many into complacency. Earth had developed its technology, established trade routes, and maintained a careful neutrality in galactic politics. But now, the Galactic Empire, the dominant force in this sector of the galaxy, had decided that Earth's position was too strategic to ignore. "Admiral, the Council is ready for your briefing," announced Captain James Rodriguez, his holographic image flickering slightly in the dim light of the observation deck. Sarah took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "Very well, Captain. Let's not keep them waiting." The Council chamber was a testament to humanity's progress, a perfect blend of Earth's architectural heritage and advanced alien technology. 12 Council members representing Earth's unified governments sat around a circular table, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of holographic displays. "The Concordiate's demands are unprecedented," Sarah began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "They're requesting unrestricted access to our space, control of our orbital defense networks, and the right to establish military bases on our moon." Councillor Weizong leaned forward, his weathered face creased with concern. "And if we refuse? Then we face the largest military force in this sector of the galaxy," Sarah replied, activating a holographic display showing the Concordiate's fleet movements. Their battle group includes 3 dreadnoughts, 20 cruisers, and numerous support vessels. By conventional metrics, they outgun us 10-1. The chamber erupted in murmurs of concern. Councillor Maria Santos raised her hand, silencing the room. "Admiral Chen, you've spent your career studying alien military tactics and technology. What are our chances if we resist?" Sarah's lips curved into a slight smile. "Councillor, the Concordiate believes they know everything about Earth's defensive capabilities. They're wrong." She gestured, and the hologram shifted to show Earth's orbital defense grid. "For the past decade, we've been developing technology that the Concordiate doesn't understand, because it's uniquely human. Dr. Rivera's quantum entanglement defense system isn't just a shield. It's a completely new approach to space warfare. But it's untested in actual combat," Councillor Ahmed Abdullah pointed out. "Are we willing to bet humanity's future on experimental technology?" Sarah's voice took on a steel edge. "With respect, Councillor, humanity's future is at stake either way. If we submit to the Concordiate now, we'll never be truly free again. They'll strip mine our resources, conscript our people into their military, and reduce Earth to just another subjugated world in their empire." The chamber fell silent as the weight of her words sank in. Sarah continued, "The Concordiate expects us to calculate the odds and surrender. But they're forgetting something fundamental about humanity. We've never been good at accepting impossible odds." Council President Elena Volkov stood, her presence commanding attention. "Admiral Chen, if we decide to resist, what's our first move?" "We draw a line in the stars," Sarah replied firmly. "We announce that Earth's space is sovereign territory. Any unauthorized military vessels attempting to cross that line will be treated as hostile. We show the galaxy that humanity won't be bullied into submission." The council chambers erupted in heated debate. Sarah watched as humanity's representatives argued over the fate of their species. After 3 hours of intense discussion, the vote was called. The result was unanimous. Earth would stand its ground. As Sarah left the council chamber, Captain Rodriguez fell into step beside her. "The Concordiate won't take this well, Admiral." "No, they won't," Sarah agreed, her pace quickening. "But they're about to learn something important about humans, Captain. We don't start fights, but we certainly know how to finish them." She paused at a viewport, watching as Earth's defense satellites glinted in the sunlight. Somewhere out there, the Concordiate fleet was approaching, confident in their superiority. They had no idea what they were about to face. "Send the message to all commands," Sarah ordered. "Defense Protocol Alpha is now active. Let's show the galaxy why you should never underestimate Earth." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility unknown to most of humanity, Dr. Marcus Rivera stood before a wall of quantum displays. His creation, the Quantum Entanglement Defense System, QEDS, pulsed with an ethereal blue light that illuminated the underground chamber. "The principle is elegantly simple," Marcus explained to Admiral Chen, who had just arrived from the council meeting. "Traditional shields try to stop incoming fire. QEDs doesn't stop it. It redirects it through quantum tunneling. The energy never actually touches our ships or stations." Sarah watched the simulation playing out on the main display. A Concordia dreadnought's energy weapons seemed to pass straight through an Earth destroyer, leaving it completely unarmed. "And they have no defense against this." Marcus shook his head, his eyes bright with pride. "How can you defend against something that bypasses conventional spacetime? The Concordiate's technology is impressive, but it's predictable. They'd spent centuries perfecting the same basic concepts. We humans," he smiled, "we think differently." "Show me the coverage," Sarah requested, and the display shifted to show Earth's defensive grid. Hundreds of quantum relay stations orbited the planet, each one looking like nothing more than a communications satellite to outside observers. "We can protect everything inside lunar orbit," Marcus confirmed. "The real genius is in the power requirements. The system actually uses the enemy's own weapon energy to power itself. The more they shoot at us, the stronger our defenses become," Sarah finished, beginning to understand the elegant simplicity of the system. "Marcus, this is brilliant." A warning tone interrupted their discussion. Captain Rodriguez's hologram appeared. "Admiral, we're detecting Concordiate scout ships at the edge of the solar system. Their main fleet isn't far behind." Sarah straightened. "How long?" "At their current speed, the main fleet will reach our defensive line in 18 hours. Marcus turned to his team of scientists and engineers. "Begin final system checks. I want triple redundancy on all quantum relays." He looked at Sarah. "We're ready, Admiral. The system works perfectly in simulations, but we've never tested it against actual Concordiate weapons." Sarah nodded. "Well, looks like we're about to get our field test." The next 16 hours were a blur of activity. Throughout the solar system, Earth's forces moved into position. Civilian ships were evacuated behind the defensive line, and emergency protocols were activated worldwide. Yet strangely, there was little panic among Earth's population. Instead, a grim determination had settled over humanity. In her command center aboard the defense station, Sarah received reports from around the world. Nations that had been rivals for centuries were now working in perfect coordination. Earth's combined fleet, though smaller than the Concordiate Armada, was positioned with tactical precision. "Admiral," Marcus called from his station in the mountain facility, "I've been analyzing the Concordiate's approach vector. They're coming in exactly as we predicted, a standard Imperial assault formation. They still think we're a primitive civilization with basic shield technology." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Good. Let them think that." She opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Chen. In less than 2 hours, we face the largest military force in this sector of the galaxy. They expect us to surrender. They expect us to calculate the odds and realize we can't win. But they don't understand what makes humanity special." She paused, looking at the tactical display showing Earth's forces. "We've spent our entire history doing the impossible. When they said we couldn't fly, we built airplanes. When they said we couldn't reach space, we walked on the moon. When they said faster than light travel was impossible, we broke that barrier too. Now they're saying we can't stand against the Concordiate Empire. The first Concordia dreadnought appeared on long-range sensors, its massive form dwarfing everything around it. Sarah's voice remained steady. Let's show them how wrong they are. All ships, battle stations, activate QEDs on my mark. Marcus's voice came through the command channel. Admiral, quantum grid is at full power. Ready on your order. The Concordiate fleet was now clearly visible, their ships arranged in an attack formation that had conquered 1,000 worlds. Their confidence was almost palpable. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Let them come. Humanity is about to teach the galaxy a lesson in humility. Admiral Kexnar stood on the bridge of the Imperial dreadnought Sovereign Light. His 4 eyes narrowed as he studied the tactical display. The humans had arranged their pitiful fleet in a defensive formation around their planet, just as expected. Their stubborn defiance would make their inevitable defeat even more satisfying. All ships report ready, Admiral, his executive officer announced. The humans have made no attempt to withdraw their forces. Kexnar's facial tentacles twitched in amusement. Of course not. Their species has always displayed more courage than sense. He opened a channel to the Earth Defense Command. This is Admiral Kexnar of the Concordiate Empire. Your resistance is futile. Surrender now, and we will show mercy. On the defense station, Sarah Chen received the transmission with a calm she didn't entirely feel. This is Admiral Chen of Earth Defense Command. We reject your demand for surrender. Any attempt to cross our defensive line will be met with force. You cannot hope to resist the Empire, Kexnar replied, genuine confusion in his voice. Our sensors show your technology is vastly inferior. Why sacrifice your lives needlessly? Sarah's response was simple. Because this is our home. The communication ended. In his mountain facility, Marcus watched as the quantum grid hummed with power. QEDS is operating at optimal levels, Admiral. All relay stations report ready. Very well. Sarah nodded. All ships, maintain position. Let them make the first move. They didn't have to wait long. The Concordiate fleet surged forward, their massive ships moving with practiced precision. Energy weapons charged, missile bays opened, and targeting systems locked onto Earth's vessels. Enemy fleet is launching their first volley, Captain Rodriguez reported. Multiple plasma torpedoes and energy beams incoming. Sarah's voice was steady. Hold position. Marcus, activate QED is on my mark. She watched as the Concordiate weapons approached. The timing had to be perfect. 3, 2, 1. Now. The quantum grid activated. To the astonished Concordiate crews, their weapons seemed to pass straight through the Earth ships, disappearing into empty space. On their sensors, the human vessels flickered like ghosts. Impossible, Kexnar shouted, his composure cracking. All ships, concentrate fire on their flagship. Maximum power. The space around Earth's defense fleet lit up with energy as the Concordiate ships unleashed their full arsenal. But each shot, each torpedo, each beam of devastating energy simply vanished before reaching its target. In the mountain facility, Marcus grinned as he watched the power readings. It's working perfectly, Admiral. The quantum relays are absorbing their weapon energy and redistributing it through the grid. Our power levels are actually increasing. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Excellent. Time for Phase 2. All ships, execute Maneuver Delta. Earth's fleet moved with unexpected agility, taking up new positions that seemed to make no tactical sense to the Concordiate commanders. But Sarah knew exactly what she was doing. Admiral Kexnar, she transmitted. I'm giving you one chance to withdraw your forces. We don't wish to destroy your fleet. Kexnar's response was predictable. You dare threaten the Imperial fleet. All ships, advance. Crush their defenses. As the Concordiate ships moved forward, Sarah gave the order they'd been waiting for. Marcus, initiate quantum feedback loop. The QED's grid shifted frequency. Suddenly, all the energy the Concordiate had been firing uselessly at Earth's ships was redirected back at their own fleet. Their own weapons fire seemed to materialize from nowhere, striking their shields with devastating effect. By the Empire, Kexnar stumbled as his flagship shuddered under the impact. "What sorcery is this?" "Not sorcery, Admiral," Sarah replied calmly. "Just human ingenuity. Your weapons can't harm us, but they can harm you. I suggest you reconsider your position." The Concordiate fleet was in chaos. Their most powerful weapons were being turned against them by an enemy they had gravely underestimated. Ships began breaking formation, their crews confused and frightened by technology they couldn't understand. "Admiral," Marcus reported, "the quantum grid is stable. We can maintain this defensive screen indefinitely." Sarah nodded, watching as the mighty Concordiate armada fell into disarray. "Send message to all Earth forces. Hold position. Let them see what they're up against." On the Sovereign Light, Kexnar faced a decision he'd never imagined having to make. His mighty fleet, the pride of the Empire, was being defeated without the humans firing a single shot. Worse, they had revealed capabilities that shouldn't have been possible. "Admiral Kexnar," Sarah's voice came through again. "Your ships are taking damage. You can either retreat and save your crews, or continue this attack and face the consequences. The choice is yours." Maya Patel stood before the gathered representatives of 7 independent star systems, her diplomatic uniform crisp despite the 16-hour journey to reach this secret meeting location. News of Earth's successful defense against the Concordiate had spread through the galaxy like wildfire, and now previously hesitant worlds were willing to listen. "What you've heard is true," Maya began, her voice carrying across the secure chamber. "Earth not only survived the Concordiate's attack, but forced their fleet to retreat. We're not here to boast about this victory. We're here because it proves something many thought impossible. The Empire can be resisted." The chamber erupted in whispers. The Nexarian delegate, their crystalline form shimmering under the lights, spoke first. "How can we be certain? The Empire claims it was merely a tactical withdrawal." Maya activated a holographic display, showing footage of the battle. "This is why we've gathered in person. What I'm about to share cannot be transmitted through normal channels." The assembled delegates watched in stunned silence as Earth's quantum defense system repelled the mighty Concordiate fleet. The Volteri representative, an entity of pure energy contained within an environmental suit, pulsed with excitement. "Remarkable," the Volteri hummed. "But surely the Empire will return with a larger force." Maya nodded gravely. "They will. That's precisely why I'm here. Earth stands ready to share our defensive technology with any world willing to join our coalition of independent systems." Back on Earth, Admiral Chen was reviewing the latest intelligence reports when Marcus burst into her office, his usual composed demeanor shaken. "Sarah, we've detected something. The Concordiate didn't completely withdraw their forces. They left behind quantum-cloaked observation posts throughout the system." Sarah leaned forward. "Can they penetrate our defenses?" "No, but they're studying them. Given time, they might find a way to counter QEDS. And there's more." Marcus activated a display showing energy signatures from multiple sectors. "The Empire is mobilizing their reserves. They're calling in fleets from across their territory." "How long?" 2 weeks, maybe 3 before they can mount a major offensive. But this time, they'll come with everything they have." Sarah's expression remained determined. "Then we have 2 weeks to prepare. How are the negotiations going?" The display shifted to show Maya's diplomatic mission. "Better than we hoped. The Nexarians and Volteri are ready to commit their forces. 3 other systems are seriously considering joining us. The Empire's grip on this sector was already fragile. Our victory showed them it could be broken." Across the galaxy, the Concordiate's high command was in session. Admiral Kexnar stood before his superiors, his defeat heavy upon him. "The humans have developed technology that defies our understanding," he reported, "but they've revealed their hand too soon. Given time, we can adapt." High Commander Vexthor, his age evident in his graying tentacles, leaned forward. "This goes beyond one battle, Admiral. Reports indicate multiple systems are now in contact with Earth. If their defense technology spreads, the Empire could face a widespread rebellion." Another commander finished. "We cannot allow this. The humans must be crushed, completely and publicly." "Agreed." Vexthor nodded. "Admiral Kexnar, you will have command of the largest fleet ever assembled in this sector. Do not fail us again." Meanwhile, Maya's diplomatic efforts were bearing fruit. In the secure meeting chamber, the Nexarian delegate rose. "We have witnessed how humanity stands against tyranny. The Nexarian collective votes to join Earth's coalition." One by one, other delegates stood. The Volteri, the Korean Republic, the Tellurian Confederation, each pledging their forces to the cause of independence. Maya's heart raced as she transmitted the news to Earth. They weren't just fighting for their own planet anymore. They were lighting a flame of freedom that could spread across the galaxy. In her command center, Sarah reviewed the commitments from their new allies. With combined forces, they stood a better chance against what was coming. But would it be enough? "Admiral," Marcus called, his voice urgent. "Long-range sensors are detecting massive fleet movements at the edge of Concordiate space. They're coming in force this time." Sarah straightened. "Then we'll be ready. Send word to our allies. The real battle for freedom is about to begin." The combined fleet of the newly formed coalition of independent systems stretched across the space before Earth's orbital defense line. Nexarian crystal ships glittered like stars, their faceted hulls refracting sunlight. Volteri energy vessels pulsed with power, while the sleek warships of the Korean Republic moved into formation alongside Earth's defenders. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at her command station, watching as Marcus and his team integrated the quantum defense grid with their ally ships. The modifications had been completed just in time. Long-range sensors showed the massive Concordia Armada approaching, nearly 3 times the size of their previous force. "All coalition vessels report ready," Captain Rodriguez announced. "QED's integration is at 98% effectiveness." Maya's hologram appeared, her diplomatic uniform replaced by a command staff insignia. The Nexarian fleet captains say their crystal matrices have fully synchronized with the quantum grid. The Volteri are excited. They've never been able to fight the Empire before. "Let's hope their enthusiasm holds," Sarah replied. "Because here they come." The space before them seemed to warp as hundreds of Concordiate ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. At their head was a vessel that dwarfed even their previous dreadnoughts, the Imperial command ship Eternal Dominion, personal flagship of High Commander Vexthor himself. "Quite a welcome party," Marcus commented, his voice tight with tension. "They've modified their weapons. I'm detecting quantum frequency scanners. They're trying to find a way through our defenses." The comm system crackled as Vexthor's transmission came through. "This is High Commander Vexthor of the Concordiate Empire. Your rebellion ends today. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick." Sarah's response was measured. "This is Admiral Chen of the Coalition Forces. We reject your offer. The age of empire is over, Commander. Too long has the Concordiate ruled through fear and force. Today, that changes." "So be it." Vexthor's voice was cold. "All ships, commence attack pattern Omega. Show these primitives the full might of the Empire." The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. The Concordiate fleet advanced in waves, their modified weapons searching for weaknesses in the quantum defense grid. But Marcus had anticipated their adaptations. Each time they found a frequency that might penetrate the defenses, the grid shifted, redirecting their energy back at them. "They're trying to overload the system," Marcus reported, his hands flying over the controls. "Routing excess power through the Volteri ships. They can absorb it." The Volteri vessels glowed brighter as they channeled the Empire's own weapon energy, using it to strengthen their attacks. Nexarian crystal ships refracted redirected energy beams, splitting them into dozens of smaller attacks that overwhelmed Concordiate shields. But the Empire had numbers on their side. Despite their losses, they pressed forward, trying to break through by sheer force. Sarah watched as coalition ships took hits, their crews fighting with desperate courage against an enemy that had oppressed them for generations. "Admiral," Captain Rodriguez called out, "they're concentrating fire on Sector 7. The quantum grid is starting to fluctuate." Sarah's mind raced. The Empire was adapting faster than expected. They needed to end this now, before more lives were lost. Then she saw it, a pattern in the enemy's attack formation. "Marcus, look at their fleet movements. They're so focused on breaking through, they've left their command ship exposed. If we could get a signal through their defenses." Marcus's eyes widened as he understood. "We could transmit a quantum surge directly into their control systems, but we'd need to drop our defenses for a moment to do it." "How long?" 3 seconds, maybe 4. But in that time, we'd be vulnerable." Sarah finished. She opened a channel to all coalition ships. "All forces, this is Admiral Chen. Prepare for maneuver Gamma 6. On my mark, concentrate all fire on these coordinates." The coalition fleet moved with practiced precision, drawing the Empire's attention to their flanks. Meanwhile, Sarah's flagship and a select group of ships moved into position. Marcus ready. Ready. But Sarah, this is a huge gamble. She smiled grimly. "Humanity's specialty. All ships, execute maneuver Gamma 6. Now." For 4 heart-stopping seconds, a section of the quantum grid went dark. Concordiat weapons fire streaked through the gap. But their ships were facing the wrong way. Before they could react, a massive quantum surge, amplified by the combined power of the coalition fleet, struck the Eternal Dominion's command systems. The massive ship shields flickered and died. Its weapons went dark. Throughout the Concordiat fleet, confusion spread as command signals from their flagships ceased. "Now," Sarah ordered, "all ships, full attack." The coalition fleet struck as one. Quantum-enhanced weapons fire tore through the suddenly disorganized Imperial formation. Ships that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries found themselves outmaneuvered and outfought by those they had once oppressed. On the Eternal Dominion's bridge, High Commander Vexthor watched in disbelief as his mighty fleet was shattered by an alliance led by a species he had dismissed as primitive. "How?" he demanded, even as his ship's systems failed around him. "How did you defeat us?" Sarah's voice came through the failing comm system. "Because you never understood what makes humanity special, Commander. We don't accept impossible odds. We change them." The battle ended not with a grand explosion, but with a surrender. The mighty Concordiat fleet, terror of 1,000 worlds, struck their colors before the combined forces of those they had sought to dominate. In the aftermath, as coalition ships began the process of securing their victory, Maya's hologram appeared on the command deck. "The other systems are already sending requests to join the coalition. The Empire's grip on this sector is broken." Sarah nodded, watching as Earth's quantum grid pulsed with steady light, protecting not just humanity now, but all those who had chosen to stand with them. "Today marks a new dawn," she said quietly. "Not just for Earth, but for all species who desire freedom. The galaxy will never be the same." Marcus smiled. "And it all started because humanity decided to draw a line in the stars." "No," Sarah corrected him. "It started because humanity refused to accept that some things are impossible. That's always been our strength, not our weapons or our technology, but our determination to forge our own path." As the coalition fleet regrouped around Earth, their formation cast long shadows across the planet's surface. But unlike the shadows once cast by Imperial ships, these were shadows of protection, of cooperation, of hope. The age of empire was over. The age of freedom had begun.